I wanted to have a chat with you guys very casually about me going home after 9 months in China. So this is going to be the beginning of a series. What I'm talking about is kind of reverse culture shock and also not at the same time. It's like settling back into a new life in your home country after living abroad. I looked on YouTube and there's very, very little about this kind of thing. A lot of people focus more on culture shock when you get to a new place, but actually what I discovered after studying abroad in Ireland, which isn't even like that crazy different from the US, is that the scariest part of living abroad is when you come home and your home country feels foreign. So now that I've lived abroad once, this is my second time being abroad, I'm expecting it at this point. So it's going to be different, I think. But there are a lot of factors that are going to make it harder. So first of all, when am I leaving? I don't want to give you an exact date, but I am leaving sometime in mid-November. My husband, Eric, is not leaving until right before Christmas. So I know I touched on this back at the beginning of Og Vlogs, where I was vlogging every day in August when we first moved to Beijing. I touched on this subject a bit, but I just wanted to clarify what's actually happening because my flight is booked, plans are set, it's happening. The reason for this is because, as you guys know, his internship did not go according to plan. Uber ended up merging and he had to find a new internship. So he was without an internship unexpectedly for several weeks. So that's why we're gonna be apart for about a month and a half from each other, which I'm very upset about, but it is what it is. This needs to happen because basically by me coming home, I'm allowing an opportunity for my parents to travel together, which they never get to do. And so I'm looking forward to being able to give them that opportunity. On top of that, my dog, I know I talk about my dog a lot. He's very needy. You guys will meet him very soon. He is a handful. He's like having a child, basically. No one has ever been able to cut this dog's nails. Like he's 80 pounds of like pure love, and he loves everybody. He's great with people, great with dogs, but he's a nervous wreck. Like he's worse than me. I think he has like doggy anxiety. He gets separation anxiety. We think that maybe as soon as he was born, he was taken away from his mom, so he never knew his dog mom, and so he has that like issue with separation. But basically, it's gonna be good for him for me to be home earlier. It doesn't really matter. I wanted to come home in late November. My parents, like if I come home 2 weeks earlier, you know, it like helps out my parents. So it's totally fine to come home 2 weeks earlier than expected. That's totally fine. In case you guys are new to my channel, I do not have a job here in China. I am on a family visa, so I cannot legally work in China. I wanted to make this whole blogging and vlogging thing work as my possible career way back in the day. And I never thought it was going to be possible because I've always had a full-time job and it's been like, oh, how do I get started? It's so time consuming. I want to like spend time with family and friends. The opportunity to come to China gave me the chance to really like put my all into it. So I've been working full-time, if not more than full-time, trying to make this whole life work out, this whole career plan. For me, China is about working towards being self-employed and about travel and exploration. I do not speak Chinese, which many of you know has left me somewhat alienated from the community. Not completely. I mean, I would be somewhat alienated no matter what I did, but because I'm so white. But so in that respect, I am looking forward to going home because I'll have the opportunity to work. I can communicate with people. You know, there's a lot of reasons that I want to go home. But first, what I want to do in this vlog, because this has been running through my mind a lot, I want to just go over basically the pros and cons of going home in my head right now. What's really good about it and what just really sucks. So let's start with the negative so we can end on the positive. Of course, I'm leaving my husband behind. That is probably number one in my book as far as like all the reasoning. Like I would stay here if I could just to be with him because I really don't want to be apart from him. We've done a lot of long distance in the past, so we're just really over it. I mean, before he came to China, I think half our relationship has been lived out separately, like physically separate from one another. So we were just like over it. I wanted to come to China for so many reasons, but that was one of them. The other thing that sucks is I love trying new things, seeing new places, having travel opportunities. So China is like this land of the exotic for me, and it is in so many ways so different than being in the US. And it's such a cool, life-changing, mind-altering, fun experience for me. That's what sucks, is leaving that side. Things I am looking forward to when I go home. Lately, the thing I cannot stop thinking about is the moment that my dad picks me up from the airport and I say, take me to a taqueria. I need some Mexican food. That's like the first thing I'm gonna say. Oh, and if you're curious, I'm flying into the SeaTac airport, Seattle. My parents live about an hour and a half north of Seattle, so I'm flying into Seattle. It's a direct flight actually from Beijing to Seattle, so that's great. It's like 10 and a half hours. It's fine. It's really not that bad. I don't know if you guys saw this on my Snapchat, but when I picked my flight, I picked a vegan meal option. So we'll see how that works out. I'll be vlogging the whole experience. I've never selected to have an alternative meal. I'm not vegan, I just am lactose intolerant and have somewhat of an aversion to strange meats, which are pretty much the only kind of meat that they serve on airlines. Another thing I'm really looking forward to is my dog, of course, and my friends and my family. I have 2 very close high school friends. Well, one of them actually I've known since I was very, very young. She was one of my bridesmaids. And another one I've known since high school, and him and I are very good friends too. So I'm really excited to see them. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing my parents. I'll definitely be seeing my brothers. It'll be really nice to be back in an area where I have familiar faces that are available to me. You know, there's just something comforting about having family nearby, family and friends nearby. You feel like if something were to go wrong, you have a support system. I don't feel that I have that exactly in Beijing. I have a couple people I could call that would help me out, but it's nothing quite like family and friends that you've known for a really long time. I'm looking forward to a lot of food things. I'm looking forward to having access to a blender and an oven. As you guys might know, I love food and I love making food and trying out new things. I used to be the smoothie queen. I made smoothies all the time. The only way I'm kind of doing that now is I break up fruit with my hands and I put it in the little popsicle molds here. That's my version of creating new exciting smoothie flavors. Another thing I'm looking forward to is not living in this janky apartment. Why don't I give you a quick rundown about this apartment? I have a lot of paint chipping off the walls. This is the curtain that blocks us from light while we sleep. It is basically a sheet, and of course it's moldy, and we've even tried to tape it up there and it doesn't really work. Lots of cracked tiles. Unless you have this thing on the freezer, it will not stay shut, and when you try to open it, it doesn't want to open because it's frickin' Iceland in here. And not like Iceland, like Iceland. It is a land of ice. We have are these stalagmites or stalactites? I don't know. They're this is real. This is actually happening. It's because our freezer unfreezes and refreezes itself. The only option for hot water in the house is a non-adjustable spout. So this has hot water, this has cold water. The hot water for this and for the shower all come out of this machine, and you can only select one temperature at a time. It often turns off while you're in the shower and all of a sudden you're in freezing water. Our stove sucks. It's basically a camping stove. When you turn off this tap, it always drips and you have to keep adjusting it until you find the point when it stops dripping. This shelf system doesn't have any shelves in it, first of all. Second of all, our water heater cannot plug into this outlet unless it's on this box, so this is our water heater holding box. That should speak for itself. The bathroom. Oh, that's a washing machine in case you didn't watch my Beijing apartment tour. Yep, that is a washing machine in the bathroom. And that's our shower. That's the drain hole in the ground. So yeah, I'm looking forward to my parents' very clean, newly renovated home. I mean, they've been working on it themselves for years and years, and it's such a cool house. Another reason I'm really looking forward to going home is the forests and the beaches. In case you can't tell, I'm so excited. Oh, I love forests and I love beaches, and Beijing has forests, but as you know, when you don't speak Chinese, you can't drive a Chinese car. It's kind of hard to get out to the woods and go on a hike, especially where there aren't a billion Chinese people with you. I miss being alone in the forest, or at least feeling like I'm alone. And beaches. China doesn't have too many good beaches around here that I know of. Personally, I've never seen a beach in China. I know they exist, obviously, but I haven't seen them myself. I know there's a lot of industry that tends to be on beaches because of the water. You know, water's a resource. And then the fast internet, having a car. It's just a lot of little things that tend to add up. So I am definitely looking forward to going home. I'm looking forward to a lot of things, but there are those couple very big things that I am dreading. So I basically have all the emotions about going from China back home. My main thing right now is that throughout my life, the points where I had a major change happen, like I graduated college and didn't really know what I was doing. When we first came to China, when I moved in with Eric for the first time, different things like that, those big life transitions have always been the roughest times with my anxiety and my depression. Primarily my anxiety. In the past, I've had panic attacks. I tend to just panic and like think the worst about everything. That's just tends to be how my brain works. And I get really nervous about really stupid things that I know in my brain are stupid, but I can't stop like feeling anxious about them. And I used to get night terrors a lot. So that stuff tends to rear its ugly head during these times of transition. So I feel fine right now. I'm not terribly anxious or like depressed right now. I have cried a few times because of leaving my husband for a month and a half. But I know it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. It is what it is. So that's kind of my update on this whole process of moving back to the US. I'm just gonna do updates when it makes sense or when there's a new change or something. So this is kind of just my initial thoughts on going home after living in China for 9 months now that I have my plane ticket booked as of just a few days ago. Also, I wanted to share, like, when I was booking my flight, I was literally shaking and I could hear my heart beating. It was so weird. I was like, I'm so nervous about this whole transition. I know it's gonna be fine. It's totally fine. But I'm nervous about flying by myself for that long. I've never flown on a long haul flight by myself before. I know it'll be fine, but like when I'm by myself, as far as like not having people I know around me, I tend to have more panic moments. So I'll definitely make sure I have a lot of movies and books and like audiobooks and coloring and all kinds of things. Coloring, I'm like a child. All kinds of things ready to basically distract me from the fact that I'm alone, but I'm really not looking forward to the moment when I get on the Beijing Airport Express and I have all my baggage with me and I check into my flight and it's a Chinese airline, so I know they're going to be speaking Chinese at the desk and I don't speak Chinese and usually Eric helps me. And then when I get on the, security, getting on the flight, all that stuff is just going to remind me of the fact that I'm away from my husband for weeks, and every time that's happened to us in the past, I just break down all the time. I'm probably going to cry on the plane. And it's so weird because I'm so sad about leaving my husband and I want to like just cry about it, but on the other hand, I'm so happy about seeing my dog, who's my little baby, well, really big baby actually, and I'm like, I have this like love for him that's so deep and I'm just like so excited I can't like hide a smile about it. But right now I just have all the feels. That's really all I can say about it. If you guys have any questions for me or any topics you want me to really touch on during this video series about returning home after living abroad, definitely let me know. I'm totally open to suggestions, but I will definitely keep you guys updated. I post my pretty pictures on Instagram, my weird thoughts on Twitter, and Snapchat's just like random little snippets of my day. And then my Facebook is like where you're gonna get the updates whenever I put up a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for following in this journey and for all the love and support that I've received from you guys in comments and on social media and everything. I really appreciate it. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.